Good afternoon from Gazimestan near Pristina. On this gentle hill next to the field of Kosovo, we have set up 12 of our cameras through which we will continue to convey as convincingly as possible to portray the main event commemorating this significant historical date, 600th anniversary of the Battle of Kosovo. But let's see how the 600th St. Vitus Day after the battle is commemorated. Over 1.5 million people have gathered at the former battlefield, with many columns from various directions still arriving. Naturally, most of them are from Serbia, but a large number of people have traveled from all regions of our country, and also from several other countries from all continents. They are surely united by the awareness of the greatness of the anniversary, the significance of the historical event, its importance and meaning through the centuries, as well as today.
Yesterday, last night, especially in the morning and forenoon hours, all the roads in the country, especially through Serbia, seemed to become one way. They led to Kosovo.
Over 5,000 buses arrived here at Gazimestan and the surroundings. Tens of thousands of cars, about 50 regular and special trains have stopped at Kosovo, Polje, and several planes landed at the airport under Novgorod.
Now let's return to the Jubilee, its commemoration, the event that is also the reason for this grand people's gathering.
It is hard for a person, especially today, and from this place, when looking over the Kosovo plain. Certain associations, but certainly not emotions, because the awareness of the fateful significance of the Battle of Kosovo, not only for Serbian, but also for our other peoples, and even for Europeans, is too present and strong.
It is hard for any nation in Europe, no matter how much larger in number or how significant the battles they fought, to compare to the Serbs.
In its history, there is such an event, such a battle that determined its destiny through the centuries to such an extent, marking its national identity in all spheres, spiritual, ethical, creative, military, and state.
It is certain that there are few historical events, if any, that are as present in the consciousness and collective memory of a people, as is the case with the Serbian people regarding Kosovo.
Always this battle remains ever present through various forms of spiritual creation, in song, in story, in drama, in painting, in legend, in myth. Historians can assert little with certainty about what happened and how it happened on Kosovo on June 28, 1389.
Contemporary history, based on all available and reliable documents, cannot answer many essential questions with certainty. However, the historical outcome is certain. The conflict in Kosovo, the death of Serbian nobility and the army fundamentally shook this country, halted its civilizational development, and caused its centuries-long discord. It is certain that the Serbian people experienced the Battle of Kosovo as their most profound defeat, despite significant losses by the Turkish army. But even in defeat, one can be great. Even at that time, Europe respected the Serbian creative defensive spirit.
She respected that, aware that the Serbs stood at her bulwark to prevent and hinder the Turkish advance into the European West. However, historians will certainly debate many facts for a long time.
What seems most important regarding the Battle of Kosovo is one great truth. That event has continuously inspired a unique spiritual strength, a struggle for self-preservation, and freedom in the spirit of the Serbian people. Immeasurable sacrifice when it's necessary to preserve the essence of national identity. The Battle of Kosovo has certainly remained through the centuries the most inspiring source of many endeavors of the Serbian people.
at Gazimestan begins with the laying of wreaths on the monument to the heroes of Kosovo. On behalf of the Federation, Serbia, and the Yugoslav People's Army.
In the name of the Federation, the wreath is laid. In the name of Serbia, the wreath is laid by the President of the Presidency of Serbia, Slobodan Milosevic. In the name of the Federation, the wreath is laid by the President of the Presidency of Yugoslavia, Janez Drnovšek.
And on behalf of the Yugoslav People's Army, the wreath is laid by the Federal Secretary for National Defense, Colonel General Veljko Kadijevic. Glory to the heroes of Kosovo. The Honor Guard of the Yugoslav People's Army pays respects to the Kosovo heroes.
Thank you.
So this is a celebration, and it's given the greatest Yugoslav significance.
Present are the President of the Presidency of Yugoslavia and members of the Presidency. There is the President of the Central Committee of the League of Communists of Yugoslavia, Milan Pančevski. Then the Federal Secretary for People's Defense, Colonel General Veljko Kadijevic.
President of the Presidency of Serbia, Slobodan Milosevic. President of the Presidency of the Central Committee of Serbia, Bogdan Trifunovic, as well as delegations from all our republics represented at a high level.
There are also the Thessaloniki warriors and the delegation of the Serbian Holy Synod, led by Patriarch Mr. German, and many other esteemed guests from the country and the world.
Before the main ceremony begins, let us also say that the weather today in Kosovo, here at Gazimestan, in the vicinity of Pristina, is truly favorable to all those who have come. Thank you.
Live. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Comrades and friends!
At this place! This place in the heart of Serbia, on the field of Kosovo, 6 centuries ago, 600 years ago, one of the greatest battles of that time took place. Like all great events, this one is accompanied by many questions and mysteries. It is the subject of continuous scientific research and common popular curiosity. Due to social circumstances, this great 600-year anniversary of the Battle of Kosovo.
It happened in the year when Serbia, after many years, after many decades, regained its state national
And spiritual integrity. Therefore, today, we do not.
It is difficult to answer that old question of how we will face Milos.
In the history and life, it seems as if Serbia, precisely in this year, 1989, regained its state and its dignity in order to celebrate a historical event from the distant past.
Which had great historical and symbolic significance for its future.
Today it is difficult to say what in the Battle of Kosovo is historical truth and what is legend. Today that is no longer even important.
The people remembered and forgot, pressed by pain and filled with hope, like every other nation in the world. It was ashamed of treason and glorified heroism. Therefore, today it is difficult to say whether the Battle of Kosovo was a defeat or a victory for the Serbian people, whether we fell into slavery because of it or survived in that slavery because of it.
Answers to those questions will continuously be sought by science and the people. What is certain through all these centuries behind us is that 600 years ago in Kosovo, we were struck by discord.
If we lost the battle, then it was not only the result of the social superiority and armed advantage of the Ottoman Empire, but also the tragic discord at the top of the Serbian state.
Back in that distant 1389, the Ottoman Empire was not only stronger than the Serbian one, it was also happier than the Serbian Empire. Discord and betrayal in Kosovo will continue to follow the Serbian people as a malevolent fate throughout their entire history. And in the last war, that discord and betrayal led the Serbian people in Serbia into an agony whose consequences in the historical and moral sense surpassed fascist aggression. And even later, when socialist Yugoslavia was formed, the Serbian leadership in that new country remained divided, prone to compromises at the expense of its own people. The concessions that many Serbian leaders made at the expense of their own people could not be accepted historically or ethically by any nation in the world, especially since the Serbs, throughout their history, have never conquered or exploited others. Their national and historical identity throughout history and through both world wars, as well as today, is liberating.
They have eternally freed themselves and, when in a position, helped others to gain freedom.
And the fact that they are a great nation in these regions is not any Serbian sin or shame. It is an advantage that they have not used against others. But I must say here, this great legendary field of Kosovo, that Serbs never used the advantage of being large even for themselves, thanks to their leaders and politicians.
And their vassal mentality even made them feel guilty in front of others and themselves. The discord among Serbian politicians has set Serbia back, and their inferiority has humiliated Serbia.
It was like that for decades.
For years, here we are today on the field of Kosovo to say that it is no longer like that. There is no more suitable place in Serbia than the field of Kosovo to say that. And there is no more suitable place in Serbia for that. There is no more suitable place in Serbia than the field of Kosovo to say that. To the Serbian people, and to Serbia and every one of its citizens, regardless of national or religious affiliation, Serbia is today united, equal with other republics, and ready to do everything to improve the material and social position of all its citizens.
If there is unity, cooperation, and seriousness, it will succeed in that.
That is why the optimism present in Serbia today regarding future days is realistic, as it is based on the freedom that allows all people to express their positive, creative, humane abilities for the advancement of societal and personal life. In
In Serbia, it has never been only Serbs who lived. Today, more than before, citizens of other peoples and nationalities also live there. This is not a handicap for Serbia.
I'm sincerely convinced that this is her advantage. In this sense, the national composition of almost all, and especially developed, countries of the modern world is changing. More and more successfully, citizens of various nationalities, various religions, and races live together. Socialism, as a progressive and fair democratic society, especially should not allow people to be divided by nationality and religion. The only differences that can and should be allowed in socialism are between those who work and those who do not. Between the honest and dishonest. Therefore, everyone in Serbia who lives from their work honestly, respecting other people and other nations in their republic. After all, our entire country should be organized on these foundations. Yugoslavia is a multinational community, and it can only survive under conditions of complete equality of all nations living in it. The crisis that struck Yugoslavia led to national, but also social, cultural, religious, and many other less significant divisions. Among all these divisions, the national ones have proven to be the most dramatic. Removing them will facilitate the removal of other divisions and mitigate the consequences caused by those other divisions. Since multinational communities have existed, their weak point has been the relationships established between different nations. Like a sword over their heads, there is the constant threat that one day the question of one nation being endangered by others will be raised, thereby triggering a wave of suspicion, accusations, and intolerance that typically grows and is difficult to stop. Both internal and external enemies of such communities know this, and therefore generally organize their activities against multinational societies by inciting national conflicts. At this moment, we in Yugoslavia are acting as if we are not at all familiar with that experience, and as if in our own past, both distant and recent, we have not experienced the full tragedy of national conflicts that a society can endure, yet still survive. Equal and harmonious relations among the Yugoslav peoples are a necessary condition for the survival of Yugoslavia, for its recovery from the crisis, and especially a necessary condition for its economic and social prosperity. In this way, Yugoslavia does not stand out from the social environment of the modern, especially developed world. That world is increasingly marked by national tolerance, national cooperation, and even national equality.
Contemporary economic and technological, but also political.
And cultural development directs various nations towards one another, makes them mutually dependent and increasingly equal among themselves in the civilization toward which humanity is moving. Above all, it is the equal and united people who can set foot. If we cannot be at the forefront of the path to such a civilization, we certainly should not be at its rear. At the time when this famous historical battle in Kosovo took place, people looked to the stars seeking help from them. Today, 6 centuries later, they are once again looking at the stars, but now aiming to conquer them.
For the first time, they could allow themselves disunity, hatred, betrayal, because they lived in smaller,
Mutually poorly connected worlds. Today, as inhabitants of the planet, the disunited cannot conquer neither their own planet, let alone other planets, unless they are united and in solidarity with each other. That is why perhaps nowhere on the soil of our homeland do words dedicated to harmony, solidarity, and cooperation among people make as much sense as they do here on the field of Kosovo, which is a symbol of discord and betrayal. In the memory of the Serbian people, that discord was crucial for the loss of the battle and the evil fate that Serbia endured for a full 5 centuries. Even if, from a historical point of view, it were not so, it remains certain that the people experience their disunity as their greatest misfortune. And therefore, it is the duty of the people to remove it themselves in order to protect themselves in the future from defeat, failure, and stagnation. The people in Serbia have this year become aware of the necessity of mutual harmony as an essential condition for their present life and future development. I am convinced that this awareness of harmony and unity enables Serbia not only to function as a state, but to function as a successful state. That is why I think it makes sense to say it right here in Kosovo, where discord once tragically set back and threatened Serbia for centuries, and where renewed harmony can enhance it and restore its dignity. And such awareness of mutual relations represents a fundamental necessity for Yugoslavia because its fate lies in the united hands of all its peoples. The Battle of Kosovo contains within itself another great symbol. It is the symbol of heroism. Songs, dances, literature, and history are dedicated to it. Kosovo's heroism has inspired our creativity for 6 centuries, nourishes our pride. It reminds us not to forget that we were once a great, brave, and proud army, one of the few that remained undefeated in loss.
6 centuries later, today.
Once again, we are in battles and facing battles, as they are not armed, although such are not yet excluded. But regardless of their nature, these battles cannot be won without determination, courage, and self-sacrifice. Without those good qualities that were long ago present on the field of Kosovo, our main battle today pertains to achieving economic, political, cultural, and overall social prosperity for a quicker and more successful approach to the civilization in which people will live in the 21st century. Especially bravery is needed. It is understood somewhat differently, but the courage without which nothing serious or great in the world can be achieved remains unchanged, remains eternally necessary. 6 centuries ago, Serbia defended itself here on the field of Kosovo, but it also defended Europe. At that time, it was on its bastion that protected European culture, religion, and European society as a whole. That is why today it seems not only unjust, but also historical and completely absurd to discuss Serbia's belonging to Europe. She is continuously present in it today as before, understood in its own way, but in such a way that has never deprived it of dignity in a historical sense. In that spirit, today we strive to build a rich and democratic society, and thus contribute to the prosperity of our beautiful and currently unjustly suffering country, but also contribute to the efforts of all progressive people of our time who are striving for a new, better world.
Better world. May the memory of Kosovo's heroism live forever. Long live Serbia. Long live Yugoslavia. Long live peace and brotherhood among nations. unity of all its inhabitants, for civilizational progress, for brotherhood and unity, for strengthening Serbia so that Yugoslavia can step out of a prolonged period of crisis onto the path of true progress as soon as possible. The ceremony will continue with a cultural artistic program. The musical stage work Passion of St. Prince Lazar will be performed. Performers, Choir of Radio Television Belgrade, Branko Krasmanovic and the Symphony Orchestra of Radio. The conductor is Darika Matić-Marović. So, this musical stage work is The Lord Became Angry in the year 1371. The Lord became angry in the year 1371. Thank you. No? Thank you. No? Thank you. No? Thank you. Thank you. No? Thank you. No? Thank you. No? Whoa. Thank you for following the channel. Thank you for following the channel. Here once stood a great autocrat. Earthly wonder, and Riga the Serbian, called Lazar, the great prince. Not by greatness did he surpass it, but by fiery mind and depth of wisdom. Thank you for following the channel.